The year 1995. The world team in long-distance jumping defeats Team USA handily. In 1996, deja vu. The same happens all over again. World is looking for 3 in a row. Welcome, everyone. The Cafe de Columbia Waterski World Cup long distance jumping. It's the Savings Bank of Manchester Waterski Classic for the shores in Hartford, Connecticut. Along the Connecticut River, Team USA versus the world. A little different than we ordinarily do.
It is. It's a lot of fun for the skiers because Scot Ellis here will compete along with John Swanson against a Bruce Neville and against Curtis Shears, for instance. And you can see the playfulness here has already begun.
And the playfulness is going to turn into a fight for pride once they get to that 6-foot monster. 5 matches in all. Basically, the USA will send a guy over, then the world team will send a guy over. Whoever wins that particular match, first time out, gets an extra foot of bonus distance. As the matches progress, the bonus distance increases to 5 feet in the final matchup. And then the total team footage, quite simply, takes the win as we're underway with team jumping, USA versus the world. Now to set our matchup, here's Dave.
Doug, I'm down here by the dock with John Swanson, captain of the U.S. team, and Jim Clunie, captain of the world team. We're going into our 3rd annual USA versus the world, and so far the world has won 2 events straight.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. The first year was so close down to the last foot, and last year Carl Robert's carrying an injury, sort of. I think we got fortunate again, so I wouldn't say we've dominated. I'd say we've been fortunate twice.
Well, the competition has always been very close between these 2 teams because the best jumpers in the world are here. In fact, every member of both squads has jumped in excess of 200 feet sometime in their career. John Swanson, you do not have Carl Roberts on the team this year. Why not?
Carl's got a bruised heel, and it's probably the most severe injury a jumper can have because it can linger throughout a season. He's running for the World Cup title, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to jump for us today. But we got Danny Zeisler, a local favorite, backing it up for Carl, and you know, we give it our best every year, and we've been just a hair shy, so maybe today's the day.
It's going to be a tough battle. Matchup number 1, Zeisler, the local guy Johnny just talked about, will be first on the water.
Danny has a personal best jump of 200 feet, which he did just last May. He's only done it 1 time. Perhaps he's the weak man on the squad, taking Carl Robert's place. 33 years old, but a big, strong guy, and I think his heart's really into this event today. Wearing the goggles, comes out of the snow ski industry, but he likes that, and as I said, he has the strength, the upper body strength to really jump well here. I think he's maybe feeling some pressure too, because this is the first time he's had a chance to represent Team USA.
Yeah, skiing with the big guys, the nerves are definitely on the water. Zeisler, jump number 1, 188 feet. Here's his 2nd attempt.
Pretty tough to fill the shoes of a Carl Roberts, but here's Danny giving it his 2nd attempt. Whoa, and he got a great explosive punch off the top of the ramp. That's a very good jump. You can see the water coming off the right ski right at the base of the ramp. That's how you know that Danny's edging all the way in. His timing was perfect, and he got the explosive extension.
Zeisler contributing nicely on the 2nd jump to Team USA, 194 feet. In the absence, of course, of the man who just walked in front of your camera there, Carl Roberts, the heel bruise, keeping him out. And a congratulations from the man who certainly does not like to sit the sidelines. Now, Zeisler's counterpart on the world side, John Levingston, had a win in Charleston solo earlier this year, now looking to contribute for the world team.
John Levingston well, I was about to say continuing his winning ways, but you saw him really split on the ramp there. He really lost control of his skis coming up the ramp, but he has turned into a far more consistent jumper this year than I've ever seen before. He's had some help off the water with a hypnotist, a sports psychologist who's been working with him, and it's paid off in huge jumps throughout the year. Right now, he needs a big jump for Team World.
171 feet. Dare we say that will not help them much.
There's only 1 foot bonus here in this matchup, so he wants to also out-jump Danny Zeisler. There's a big jump. That's the kind of form we've been seeing from him this season, ever since about last August or September when he started really getting his lift. Look at him just continue to rise after he left the top of the ramp.
Remember, 194 was the best off the top for Team USA, but Levingston shatters it, 204. You get that extra foot of bonus distance now. Team World holds a 205 to 194-foot advantage. But in round two, we increase the bonus distance here at the Savings Bank of Manchester Waterski Classic, which is brought to you by Mastercraft, the leader and pulling farther ahead. And by 100% Colombian coffee. Look for this symbol to find the richest coffee in the world. Freddy Krueger has had one jump already of 196 feet. For Team USA, a second effort.
This whole season, he's been very consistent in the high 90s, but not cracking into the 200-foot area very frequently. But on the other hand, he's been a safer jumper this year. His head has been up a lot more, his back straighter. I think this has kept him from taking some of those hard, bone-crunching, out-the-front falls that were so frequent last season. This is a pretty jump. This is classic stuff for Freddy Krueger right there.
Beauty, 199 feet. Trying to close the gap on Team World, who right now holds an 11-foot advantage over Team USA. The matchup for Krueger, Canadian Jim Clunie.
Jimmy tends to drift back a little bit here, losing some of his width. He might be short on speed, but he's always big on explosive power off the top of the ramp.
Rocking back on his skis and then onto his back to absorb the shock of the landing.
This is what I mean. He's edging in a little bit, but he's really not carrying enough speed to put one way out in the 200-foot range. He's going to have to adjust his timing on his next attempt.
Jim Clunie, Team World. Krueger had the 199. Clunie 181, not near good. Let's go down to the dock. Our Dave Benzel standing by.
Freddie, what kinds of comments or coaching do you have for the rest of the USA team before they go out?
Dave, it's really nice out there. All weekend I felt a little bit of a panic. The ramp feels like it's coming really quick, so I kept shuffling off my speed, and then I wouldn't have enough speed out there. But, you know, Scott and Mark and all those guys did an excellent job of not panicking on that yesterday, and obviously that's why they're seated ahead. So I think they got it figured out. It's nice, better than yesterday. We should see some really big jumps.
All right, Jim Clunie, Team World, facing Krueger's 199. And if he doesn't beat him, Krueger will take 2 feet in bonus distance this round.
Well, this is a better jump. He came down the lake a ways. He carried more speed in. But you know what? I don't think it's far enough, and neither does Bruce Neville watching this Jim Clunie jump. Well, the skis came around great. You can see how hard he's digging in at the beginning of the jump. But on the ramp, upper body crush. Did you see his chest come toward the ramp surface instead of getting pushed straight up? There's where he lost some of his distance.
Jim Clunie, the Canadian Cannonball, a 185, his best effort in matchup number 2. Krueger wins it, 199. You add the 2 feet of bonus distance in round 2. That means the USA has a 5-foot lead right now. In a moment, matchup number 3. This guy, John Swanson, out of the West Coast, but he's back home, Hartford. It's where he was raised. He'll match up against the Australian, Curtis Shears, geared up and ready to do battle. For water skiing and a fabulous weekend for an international field. It's USA versus the world. The Australian 19-year-old Curtis Shears in matchup number 3.
Curtis Shears does not have as much experience on the 6-foot ramp as most of his teammates. He's been jumping 5.5-foot ramp, but he shows a lot of moxie here on the ramp. That was a very explosive jump. And sometimes when a skier goes from the 5.5 to the 6-foot jump, they can't handle the increase in the incline, and they tend to body crush a lot. Or they might be a little intimidated by its size and sit back. But I don't see any evidence of that here. Curtis Shears just got right up and booted it.
199, you hear the announcer in the background. Curtis Shears on the board with a beauty for Team World, who is at a 5-foot deficit right now.
Well, he's showing a lot of confidence, knowing that John Swanson is the matchup partner. There's another great jump. He is handling this ramp so well. And this is an event where the older you are, the more experience you have, the better you tend to handle this jump. Young men often make mistakes out here in this kind of pressure-packed situation.
Shears handling the pressure pretty well. 199 the first, 200 for jump number 2 for Curtis Shears.
Fellow Aussies are congratulating you, Curtis. A 200-foot jump. That makes you a real team member here.
Certainly does. I was pleased to make the team yesterday, and I wanted to jump 200 today, and it was very nice out there.
And how do you feel on the 6-foot ramp in view of the fact that you spent so much time on the 5.5?
It actually feels big some days and small the others. Today it felt small, and that's fine if you cut into it.
Well, Curtis Shears just coming off the water, and some say this is a critical matchup between Curtis Shears and John Swanson. Curtis, the least experienced on the 6-foot ramp. John Swanson, the freshest skier out there because he has not been on the tour all season. In fact, this is only his second stop this year. This could spell the difference in the competition. The USA is ahead +5 as John takes to the water.
He's the captain of Team USA, and Dave, you really got to wonder, is having all this time off going to make him fresh or going to make him a little scared of that ramp?
He's been jumping so well at home.
Oh,
look at this.
I think the question was just answered.
Yeah, he's ready for this. He loves jumping here in Hartford. He has the confidence of some very long jumps at home in practice, so he's out to attack the ramp.
Wow.
That was like 98.
He tends to let go of the handle a little early in flight. I think he could almost get a little bit more distance if he hung on longer. But that explosive kick is absolutely a trademark John Swanson.
Comes up short, unbelievably so. I'm surprised. 197 feet on the first effort.
He went high, but not as far. He added a little speed to this one. That's a longer jump. He had the speed and the height.
He's got the fist pump, little confidence on that one.
It's possible for John to go straight up in the air with that explosive kick, but then drop out of the sky. So on this jump, he added more speed and kicked it so that he can carry or float for a greater length of time. It's time in the air that gives you distance.
The captain of Team USA has rallied the troops. 205 feet. A fist pumping John Swanson making his way back to the dock, and what a lead now for Team USA. After 3 matchups, the bonus distance for Swanee in round 3 means a 13-foot lead for Team USA. 2 more matchups to go, more bonus distance to come.
John, you came through with the big jump when you needed it. We thought this was a critical matchup with you and Curtis Shears.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Curtis is just, he's the next guy to beat for sure. And you go out there under that kind of pressure and he goes 200 and you're the veteran behind him. You got to do something at that point, you know, and felt good on the last jump. I won that matchup, so we'll see how it goes.
When we come back out of Rome, Georgia, Mark Lane will jump for Team USA in matchup number 4. His counterparts on the international side, Kreg Llewellyn. Our Team USA versus Team World matchup in just a moment, but first, the coach is shoreside, giving us some tips on where the power comes from in slalom skiing.
Have you ever wondered where slalom power really comes from? Well, to begin with, start with a good pair of gloves. These are Kevlar lined gloves, which give you a real sure grip on the handle. But many people think that when you're slaloming, you have to have your arms bent and really pull hard. All this does is wear out your biceps and your forearms. Think about what happens when you go to the family picnic and you get invited to participate in a tug-of-war. You find yourself placing your feet closer to your opponent. You bring your hips up to the rope you're pulling against, and you would actually find yourself stronger if you let your arms out straight and leaned against your opponent. Well, that's exactly what today's slalom skiers do. They place their feet with the ski on edge in between themselves and the towboat. They let their arms out straight, but put the handle right up to their hips, and then they can drive away from the boat with their legs. So in fact, if you want to be strong in the slalom course, don't use your biceps at all. Just use good, lean, and mean body position.
And our jumpers here in USA versus the World competition using somewhat of that style as well, leaning away real hard. From the World team, Kreg Llewellyn.
And it's interesting to note that Kreg Llewellyn crashed here 3 years ago at this very site, had a terrible injury, and he's back here jumping like that.
24 Canadian records in slalom, trick, and jump. A well-rounded skier from the Llewellyn family. Well-known water skiers worldwide.
Doug, this is a big jump. Kreg has been just getting stronger and stronger as the season progressed. Last year, maybe jumping in the 80s and low 90s. This year, he is approaching 200 feet.
Dave, you just mentioned that figure. There it is.
And this is very fascinating. The last time he jumped 200 feet was 5 years ago in a tournament in Florida.
And it's a great time because in matchup number 4, there'll be 4 feet of bonus distance for the winner. Oh, look out.
Oh, did you see that right ski? It almost got behind him. Yeah, he's shaking his hand because he knows that was a scary jump. Pushing the limits here, Doug. Full of confidence off of that 200-foot opener. The right ski must be getting behind him here a little bit because as he kicks it, his head went down. And look at that right ski. Now, here's a case where big skis tend not to get behind you as fast. And these guys are telling me it's safer with these big skis than the smaller 72-inch skis they used to use.
181 on his second effort. So we'll count the 200-foot jump in matchup number 4 for Kreg Llewellyn. That's what Mark Lane has to beat. Out of Georgia, currently living in Seattle, he trains with our Team USA captain, John Swanson.
And he has really blossomed as a jumper since going to Seattle.
Wow, screaming into the ramp.
Can you tell this guy probably practices with John Swanson? Now, similarly, he suffers from something that John Swanson used to have a problem with, and that is not enough width. So he's not carrying the speed into the ramp. John has outgrown this problem, and Mark will outgrow it too, but at the moment, he needs more speed to go with that explosive lift.
Mark Lane, 197 feet. He needs 4 feet to beat Kreg Llewellyn, 3 to tie.
Think how far this young man's going to go when he starts getting as wide as a Carl Roberge. Oh, no, that's not it.
If he's standing up that clean at the end of the jump, the effort not quite there.
Body position is a little bit back here. Hips behind the bindings a little bit, which costs him his vertical lift. He's going to have to take that first jump as his longest.
194 on number 2. That, of course, means Kreg Llewellyn's 200-foot jump in matchup number 4 is the longest. He'll have the benefit of 4 feet of bonus distance to be added to that score, bringing it to 204. Team World now just 6 feet behind Team USA. The gap is closing. There are 2 men left. Matchup number 5. When we come back for Team USA out of Lakeland, Florida, it's going to be Scot Ellis. His best performance ever, 216 feet. He can boom it out there, but so can the current world record holder. From the world team, Australian Bruce Neville. These 2 guys will decide the team championship next. Welcome back, everyone. The Cafe de Columbia Waterski World Cup, the Savings Bank of Manchester Waterski Classic, brought to you by Sea-Doo, best-selling boat in the world. Everybody's doing it. Sea-Doo. And by Mastercraft Ski Boats, the leader and pulling farther ahead. Back to the water. The final matchup, 5 feet of bonus distance on the line. The current world record holder, Bruce Neville. He's had some wins this season. Personally, now he's looking to take one for the team.
The breeze has kicked up just a little bit, and I only mention it because I know that Bruce hates to jump in a tailwind, and that is the direction that this is blowing.
Deceivingly smooth.
And he is exactly that, Doug. He turns and just builds that speed all the way to the top of the ramp. He doesn't think in terms of the bottom of the ramp. He thinks in terms of the top. And so you'll often see that smooth acceleration all the way through the ramp. That's why he's the world record holder.
Bruce Neville, 192 feet. In matchup number 5, Scot Ellis, his counterpart from the USA, and normally in this position we'd probably see Carl Roberge. Roberge out with a heel bruise.
Bruce is going for broke here. He's got to go much farther. He doesn't know how much Scott can do out here. Scott's a 200-plus foot jumper. I don't think that's a huge jump. It's a good jump, but it's not out there in the stratosphere.
Certainly not.
Well, you can see he really cranked the skis around and tried to get on it hard, but on the ramp, he was sitting, he was squatting, the hips were behind the bindings. So instead of getting that beautiful upward lift we usually see from Bruce Neville, he kind of laid an egg on the ramp.
Actually, 196 feet.
On solid speed.
Unbelievable. 196 for Neville. Now, Scot Ellis. He needs 197, as you see, for Team USA and the victory here in Hartford. Team World has won it in 95 and 96.
Not enough speed. Not enough speed.
Too much height, you think?
Well, he just didn't carry enough speed. Good lift, but he needs to be going much faster when he hits the ramp. The question here today is Scot Ellis a pressure jumper? He has a chance to prove himself by coming through with the big jump. Right now, he's going to have to come down the lake on his countercut and be a bit later so he can generate more miles per hour.
Not only a personal goal for Scotty Ellis, you see 185 on jump one, but for Team USA, it's been 24 months of nothing but razzing from all the international guys, and they're tired of it.
That's right, and they're out here, as you said, without Carl, so it's up to Scot Ellis. He does have more speed. Ooh, there's a lot more float there. This is going to be very close.
Here's Captain Johnny Swanson, Mark Lane, everybody looking on, hoping and praying.
Good edge into the bottom. Not a perfect extension, but a good float. Whoa!
197, and Team USA, by virtue of Scotty Ellis, has won the team championship here in Hartford. Scotty Ellis makes his way into the dock. You see the flag flying.
Well, these guys really put together a team effort. Scott, congratulations. You put the winning jump out there, and first victory for Team USA.
First one we've had. Oh, Jim Clunie's here. I'm surprised he's congratulating me. But yeah, it's our first win. It was kind of a hard jump out there in the tailwind. I had to have all my P's in a row, and luckily I had enough P's and they were all in a row.
Okay, Team USA, it's time for a victory cheer here. What was the difference this year? I mean, you did this without Carl Roberts. That's a pretty tall feather in your cap.
Yeah, I think the difference was just we all just went out and jumped good, you know, and that's in the end that's what it takes. But I've been hearing about it for 2 years, and so is Scott and Fred. So Jimmy's got a good year of eating crow. I'm gonna make sure and mention it to him every day.
Congratulations, Team USA.
Going to be giving back a little of what they've been receiving for 2 years now. Team USA wins it, 1,002, the final jumping distance for them. But before the team competition, all the guys got a chance to jump individually, and after 10 events in the Café de Columbia Waterski World Cup, Carl Roberts, who did jump in individual competition, 627 points so far on the World Cup circuit. Next time we talk to you, we are going to be at the Overton's Indy Open. That is coming up Sunday, the 24th of August. And Dave Benzel, as we reflect back on this competition, great to see so many smiles.
Well, it was fun, but you know, the USA won 3 out of the 5 matchups. That was a key for them. Guys like John Swanson came through. Of course, Danny Zeisler held up his end, even though he didn't win his matchup. He stayed close enough to John Levingston.
The Café de Columbia Waterski World Cup rolls on. Next time again in Indy. For Dave Benzel, I'm Doug Dunbar. We'll see you then.
We welcome you to Chiba, Japan.